You still doing that?
I tell you, man, smoke and mirrors, week in and week out. They're getting a little better each single time. We see them against Chopper City. They threw a good match at the champs, man. I don't know about you. I'm starting to believe over here. I mean, the chop is superior. By far. The chop is superior, but man, I'm a drummer. I'm starting to believe in the air guitar, though. The power of whatever chord Mick is playing is working. Smoke and Mirrors looking pretty good in the main event tonight.
All right. How's it going, Chad? How's it going, everybody on all these platforms? Welcome to another edition of the Dudes and Belts Reignited post show here on YouTube, Twitch, and Rumble. I am your host, Johnny Deathdrop. And like Marky said, that main event was banger, and it was a banger show here tonight on Ignition that we just witnessed. Before we get into everything, let's introduce the panel. And by panel, we only got one here tonight, as always. He is your resident masshole himself, referee Marky Pins, the lover
What
of
is good,
pineapples.
everybody? The tolerator of pineapples. I didn't know you were going to sneak that in. You usually get that in
I didn't
before,
know
right?
either until last second, and it just came
You,
out. So,
you bastard.
you
You
bastard.
pineappled me. You got me, you bastard. No, what a great ignition tonight, man. We had a lot of really good matches. Briscoe versus Lobo Loco to start the show. Lilith Grimm really turned it a different gear, man. I tell you, I think that conversation with Ace the other week really hit her harder than we thought. And Lola the Adventurer going to some weird places up here in her mind. We're going to get to a whole lot of stuff going on, but man, I still got some air guitar going on in my head. I need you to talk to the people. I got to get this riff out of my head. I got all this air guitar to do. There's a lot going on. We got a lot to talk about until we get to the main event, but
So then
the
stop
song's
air.
going to be in
So
my
then
head.
stop playing the air guitar and let's get things rocking and rolling here.
It's tough. Well, let's get her going. Let's see what happens. Let's get her going.
All right, leading things off tonight here on Ignition, we had, like Marky said earlier, we had holy crap, I forgot his name. I just had a brain
Lobo
fart.
Loco.
Lobo Loco,
Balaam.
yes. That's going to take a while for me to remember every goddamn time. Lobo Loco Balaam going up against your charge champion, Balaam. Wow. Briscoe Crown.
Johnny, take a sip of
Jeez.
water. Take a sip of water, guy. I got this one for a minute. We'll be all right.
Yeah,
Like I said,
you go take about 5 or 10 minutes, and I'm just going to just.
take a quick nap, get a shot of Red Bull or something. We got a
We're
long show to do here. We're gonna
we're
be here
gonna
for another
Eastern
hour
now.
or so.
We're gonna Eastern now time this thing right now. So
Eastern now time. All right, that's what we're gonna do. Well, over here on the east, it is almost 10:30. So here we go, though, baby. We got a show opener right here, and you want to talk about, pardon me, some energy over here. Lobo Loco Balaam with his new personality, his new attitude towards everything. It's Balaam Links, but it's turned up to like 15, man. The Crazy Wolf comes to the ring, and he is a different kind of animal. No pun intended, but he's going up against a charge champion, Briscoe Crown. And surprisingly, the match kind of started off a lot slower than I thought it was going to. A lot of good exchanges in the middle of the ring, both trying to ground each other. Balaam's smart. He knows if Briscoe gets going, it could end up being a very long match. And this was one hell of a really good match because Briscoe does manage to get himself going. Even though Balaam wins the first war of attrition to keep him down because he does have that power. He does a good job. Some splashes in the corner does Briscoe Crown. Once he finally gets the momentum carried in his direction, he starts throwing his weight around a little bit. But then Balaam really throws his weight around, and he does have the advantage here. That nice pump handle gutbuster was beautiful. And then the Tongan death grip on the side, just really numbing that whole arm and side. Does a good job of grounding the smaller man in Briscoe Crown in the charge champion himself. But Briscoe manages to break loose here, and we see a cool Vader bomb from the kid. Gets a near fall out of it from the first rope. I think if he hit him maybe from the second rope, if he upped that to that second rope, it might have been a little more definitive. But Lobo Loco still got plenty of gas in the tank to kick out over there. But this was the most impressive part. We get to the end. These two guys have been throwing every bit of their arsenal at each other. Briscoe Crown reverses. It looked like Lobo was going for that lunar eclipse brainbuster, and Briscoe Crown does a great job. Reverses it into almost like a pancake reverse DDT. Looked absolutely gorgeous at the end, and he crawled on him real quick for that win. And a good sign of respect at the end of the match, but Your charge champion, Briscoe Crown, looking great since his return, man. A couple big wins. Tonight's a huge win over Lobo Loco Balaam. Even though Balaam really threw everything he had at him, John, Briscoe just had that extra gas in the tank and that extra wherewithal to get that reversal. Not one of his normal finishes, but still effective nonetheless, dude. Briscoe Crown with a big win.
Yeah, and he needs to keep that train rolling, man. He just came back to the ring, what, a couple weeks ago on Charge?
Yep.
Was his debut since being injured. And he had to put up a shut up tonight because, again, we all know Lobo Loco Balaam is also, just coming back and just starting to shake the ring rust off a little bit. But at the same time, you know, Balaam's been there and done that before. Former Charge champion, former tag team champion. Like he's got some accolades too. And Briscoe had to go toe to toe with probably one of the best stars in Rocky Mountain Pro right now, and he found a way to win, and that's what he needed. Because I don't care what you say, God only knows what's going to happen in No Thanksgiving when you're going 1-on-1 with Sergey. Sergey has been able to beat
Can happen.
to defeat people, knowingly defeat them or not knowingly defeat them. He's had some luck, and he's actually been able to put people away before. So you just don't know what's going to happen when he goes up against Sergey coming up at No Thanksgiving. So it's good to see Briscoe on the winning track here and consistently winning on Charge as well. And looks like he's tuning up and getting ready for the last push of 2023, Mark.
Yeah, he better be ready for it because there's a lot of important stuff coming up. We see that Sergey gets the opportunity. If he beats Briscoe, then he does get that Charge Championship match after No Thanksgiving. He's got to beat him at No Thanksgiving first. But just like you said, Sergey is the most unpredictable element that we've seen in RMP in years. So, but Briscoe has that experience having wrestled him multiple times. However, with the possibility of the gold being on the line next time, it's going to be huge for Briscoe to step up. And a match like tonight is a massive confidence boost for the young man.
All I see is the fly
Are you
going
laughing at
across
that?
the screen. Yes,
Oh my God.
I am. I've been
So, a
waiting
little
to do it again.
Little backstory for anybody watching. I've been sitting here in my office at the bowling alley. I watched Ignition, and there is this one little fly that has been buzzing around in my office for the last 2 hours. He's landed on my coffee cup. He landed on my hander. He is just being a pest. I'm going to get him. If you see me just like chop a city something, you'll understand exactly what it is. Because we got to...
Kind of handle business over there.
I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. There he is. Damn it.
Gone. I saw him fly away.
So quick. Oh, I'm going to get him. I swear to God, I'm going to get him.
We could just sit here we can just sit here for an hour and just watch the fly zoom across the screen as Mark's trying to kill him. It's great.
Dude, it's been 2 hours of this. It's driving me nuts.
All right. Next up on the docket here, we had the young up-and-comer Jay Camacho going up against the Grizzly veteran Derek Stone. Marky, what did you think about this one?
This was interesting from the moment we heard this was going to happen. This is legitimate student versus teacher. Derek Stone passing on that knowledge to the next generation, training at the Al Snow Wrestling Academy, training the kids, the young ones, bringing them all
Actually training during the match, too, believe it or not.
You know, I was going to say that, not just behind the scenes during the week, but here we see tonight, we see Jay try to lock up with him and then kind of Stone coaching him on, that's not going to work. You should do this and you should, so look, if you're Derek Stone, let's just be honest with ourselves here. If we could all just look into the camera and be honest with ourselves. Derek Stone out XP's Jay Camacho 437 billion to 1. And that's taking nothing away from Jay. He's just at the beginning of the adventure, right? Derek Stone has been down the road, knows the tricks, knows where all the good restaurants are off of whatever exit and whatever state he's in. So Jay just at the beginning of the adventure. And kudos to Stone for giving the kid a shot early. But then the kid messed up. And I'm going to say this out loud, and I know I'm going to see Jay next time I go out there, but the kid messed up. He smacked Stone in the mouth. And as a man who smacked a man bigger than me in the mouth one time.
I was just going to say, yeah, you've had some experience.
And then paid for it. Yeah, I thought it was smart to smack Damon Ace in the mouth one time, and then I didn't breathe right for 3 months. And I think Jay Camacho is going to have an interesting situation after this match because that just really kind of serves to infuriate Derek Stone. I mean, the kid does everything that he can, but Stone's just too damn big. It doesn't matter how many times Jay kicks, forearm shots, tries to go after the arm. Derek Stone just tosses him off like he was this little fly that's buzzing around, and you just kind of went like that and kind of got off of him. Jay had Stone a couple times, man. He's got a couple moves, like he hits him with the Pele kick directly to the cranium, and that's a big cranium. He catches him with the whole Pele kick and a couple drop kicks after that, manages to get Stone down, but just entirely too much power out of Derek Stone. Stone ends up getting Jay down on the mat. And I think, John, what was it, like 8, 9 headbutts just on the canvas? And
I lost
Jay
count
just,
after 6.
yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. Like, it just got to a point where it was like, all right, stop headbutting him. It's over. Just pin him. Please just pin him. And I think even Stone felt that, and Stone pinned him. You know, Jay's gone out there and really taken his licks from people. Like, a lot of the guys bigger, and we've seen people who are on the way up, they get thrown to the wolves very, very early. But it's a good learning experience, you know, once Jay wakes up, of course. It'll be a good learning experience for him to kind of taking a few things out. Lesson number 1, don't smack Derek Stone in the face. There is more up in there than just, you know, crazy twister moves, a broom, and the best chess player we've ever seen in our lives. There is a damn good wrestler. Go right ahead.
I will one up that. Don't smack anybody bigger than you, period, in the face.
Fair assessment. Yes. Yes.
Because if he does that to Brucey, does that to Damon Ace, does it to, you know, a Jason Knoll, Brew, the list goes on and on. So, but yeah, I mean, kudos to the kid for standing up and taking a beating. It had a couple moments, knocked Derek Stone off his feet a couple times, but Derek Stone, I mean, over 30 years in the business, man. I mean, that speaks for itself right there. And the way he put him out was actually something different that we haven't seen Derek Stone do. It looks like he's also innovating himself a little bit to try and go the extra mile against these young kids as well. So even though he just got back in the ring, Derek Stone looking very sharp for being away for almost a year.
I have to agree with you, man. You know, that knee seems pretty good. He's healing up. He seems like he's back to himself, biting the ropes and eating ropes and stuff like that in the ring. And, you know, it's good to see him back in the ring. He's been great on the table with Lucas as a commentator on Ignition. But I like seeing Derek Stone back in the ring where he belongs, doing the thing and kind of teaching the kids and moving forward, but also letting people know, don't you dare take me lightly because I'll put you out cold with so many different moves. So Stone going in, getting his reps, but sending a message to the locker room and guys like Brew, guys like Jason Knoll, really, Damon Ace, you need to take notice. I don't think Derek Stone's messing around. These might be good training matches for some of his students, but don't mess with Derek Stone.
What's up, Kevin? What's up, Yaden? How's it going?
Hey, fellas, how we doing?
All right. We got Yaden also in the Rumble.
He's right there. He's right there. The fly's right
there. Get him.
Oh, I missed.
Come on, man.
He was on the screen. I tried to flick. I just missed him.
Bro, chop.
I can't chop my monitor, dude.
Chop.
I can't chop my...
We will eventually see it live on stream tonight. We will be seeing the execution of a fly.
I'm going to get him. I'm going to get this thing.
All right. Moving on, we have some Lockettes action to talk about here. We had Noel going up against Lilith. And after what we saw last week on Charge and this past Tuesday, tempers are about to be even more flaring going into the next couple charges, especially after what happened tonight. Maki, what did you think about this match, and what do you think about the situation going on between these two going forward?
Well, this situation notwithstanding, I'll come back to that in a few minutes here. Lilith Grimm, that conversation, and I know the fellas referenced it on commentary, Spicer and Lucas were on commentary talking about it. I have to completely agree with them. That conversation that she had with Damon Ace, we heard most of it. I don't think we heard all of it because this Lilith that came to the ring this evening brought the angst of everything, because that was the focus of the conversation between Damon Ace and Lilith Grimm, was everything that she had done for Noelle in the past, and then Noelle turned her back on her. We've seen Lilith and Noelle do battle in the ring with each other since, but not since the conversation with Damon. This was a completely different Lilith Grimm. Lilith came to the ring. I mean, normally she has that focus on her face anyway. It was turned up to 50 tonight. The aggression level that she brought, the shots, every bit of everything seemed to be ×3 of even your other most hyper aggressive Lilith Grimm this evening. Noelle did as much as she could. She got a brief flurry through into the corner. She had Lilith, I mean, for a little bit there. She hits her with an awesome meteor, running meteora to the corner, and a bunch of boots in the corner. But Lilith Grimm really is something completely different. I mean, after the end of the match, we see Noelle go after the grinder that Lilith brings to the ring, and the tensions between these two.
You can't blame her after what happened last Tuesday.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gotten to a fever pitch between this metamorphosis of both of these Lockettes, between Noelle, her metamorphosis from marionette, and then everything that was in the asylum now with Sin and Happy kind of trying to welcome her into the circus and show her how to channel all of this that she hasn't had that advice to. And it almost seems like Lilith Grimm has gotten that same kind of mentorship from Damon Ace. So the both of them have really upped the situation, especially against each other. Noelle goes after the grinder. Ref Alex does a good job to get it the hell out of there, because that's going to cause some serious damage no matter what. You bring a power tool into the ring. Alex gets rid of the grinder, but then Lilith grabs the hammer, that big, huge metal hammer, and puts it directly into Noelle's gut and gives her one hell of a shot with it and gets the win here with it while Alex has his back turned. He doesn't see it. This is a little bit of a case of, if Noelle had a little more control over herself, maybe this wouldn't have happened. He wouldn't have had his back turned. But I think this was the plan 110% by Lilith Grimm tonight, was to win this match by any way that she possibly could. At any point that she could, by any way that she could. And at this point, she looks so good. At the end of the match, she is standing tall, and Noelle is wondering what happened and what hit her. So Lilith Grimm moving forward, hyper aggressive, but man, does she have her eyes on it tonight. You got to say, she didn't make any mistakes. Sometimes we see people go absolutely nuts and they stop making a lot of mistakes. Tonight, in my opinion, Lilith had the crazy button turned up on her own side a bunch, but didn't make any mistakes, John.
I don't know if it's about making mistakes on Lilith's part. I think she just has a whole new mindset on the whole situation. I mean, apparently she has to get that physical and that deranged in a way to be able to use that hammer that she walks out to the ring with time in and time out. And we don't normally see Lilith Grimm take advantage of a situation like that and actually having to use an object unless she's in a stipulation match. I mean, this was a straight up one-on-one, and Lilith is typically, straight down the middle. Again, we're starting to see a different side of Lilith, and I don't know if the Lockettes are going to be prepared for what Lilith's about to bring. Apparently that conversation with Damon Ace definitely did wonders, because, man, I've never seen Lilith so aggressive before.
Yeah. This isn't your typical Lilith Grimm, though. That's the other thing. Like, typically, we don't see Lilith do these things, but this is a different Lilith. And Lilith's actually in chat right now. Just popped in. How you doing, kid? She got this match on her side. She won to win. She went there to win, and she walked away with a win. Is it the way we normally see her do it? No. But this may not be your normal Lilith Grimm anymore.
And we're
going to have to keep seeing.
And this might not be the end of her new mindset, so to say. But you also got to go back to Noelle too. I mean, she was just as game, as Lilith was tonight. And again, we've been talking about her for weeks on end about how much she's improved ever since she actually moved to the asylum and during that whole thing. And then now she's on her own, and now she found some type of stabilized, comfort in Sin and Happy. and everything's just kind of starting to fall into place for Noelle. Let's just see where Noelle goes from here, and let's see how much more she progresses as she gets closer to, I'm assuming, coming up a run-in with Lilith Grimm on charge or at a No Thanksgiving or something down the line. Because I have a funny feeling this one's going to last a pretty long time. This blood feud runs deep right now, going back to the beginning of this year. So,
And I
I
think
mean,
you're right. I think both, as they've each elevated their own game in this Lockettes division, they're wrestling each other so often. They're elevating each other to this point. And you said it about Noelle. I'm going to say it about Lilith having to up this game. And like we said, maybe Damon brought that out of her, that conversation, just kind of let her know that it has to be done by any way that you possibly can. It does not matter how.
I
And Lilith
mean,
tonight proved that the dub means more. I don't
well,
like it. I don't like it, but it's still a win in the column, and there's nothing that anybody can do about it.
well, like you said before, I mean, these two have gone at each other in the ring multiple times throughout the course of the
Yep.
year, but emotions are extremely high right now between these two. And God, like I said, God only knows what's going to happen over the next month or two between these
Mm-hmm.
two. It might even boil over till 2024. And now we're talking about, something that is extremely personal at that point. And, we're just going to have to sit and watch this unfold. We don't know how this is going to go or or who's going to come out on top. Because I'm assuming whoever is the one that comes out on top between these two at some point down the line, I would honestly say would probably have a good shot at, going after Adrian for that title at some point in the future.
I have to completely agree with you. I do think that it's going to be one of these two that we end up seeing being our next number one contender. I completely agree with that.
Anyways, let's move on here. What's up, Lilith? To do the Studios Amore. How we all doing?
What's up,
Uh,
Z?
moving on here. I mean, we talk about big big men just beating the holy hell out of each other.
Oh, just say it. Big
Nope.
meaty men
Nope.
slapping meat. Just say
Nope.
it.
Nope.
Just say it. Come
Nope.
on. It's
Nope.
no worse than any other garbage we've said on this show before.
We're
On those outtakes.
trying. This show has gone through therapy recently. Okay, we're trying to get better at our phrasing. Okay, we've been doing okay. We've had a good run
We have
so
been
far. So
We have.
let's
It's been a while since we've had a wicked goof. It's
yeah.
been a while.
So let's try and keep the train on the tracks here and just keep on rocking and rolling. Brew going up against Jason Knoll. What a fight this was. And we saw a different side of Brew, and we saw more of his newly innovative arsenal that he has gathered ever since he's been teaming up with Echo. And we've been talking about this for weeks now about how much Brew has improved his game in ring ever since these two have met up and have decided to coexist and be a team. So,
Mm-hmm. And it's
what are
done
your
nothing
thoughts on
but
this?
propel. It's done nothing but propel both even more forward than where they were before they've kind of come together. And I think Brewmark is really enjoying the fruits of this. Not so much more than Echo Busen is, but I think that Echo has been here when he was right on that breakout point. And Echo, I believe now is an established star. Brumak is a star, but he is looking to establish himself in one area of Rocky Mountain Pro, and that is the heavyweight division right now. And I think that is his paramount place where he needs to be. And you see it tonight. He comes up against another heavyweight in Jason Knoll. And you were right, Johnny. You said this perfectly. This wasn't so much of a wrestling match as this really was more of a fight. But it was a fight that Brew came in with a plan to just take the big man's knee out. We see a lot of chest shots, a lot of forearms and things, but most of all of Brew's offense is directed solely at Jason Knoll's knee and leg area to keep the big man down. Really hard to get hit with a sky high if a guy only has one leg to get you up. And later we see in the match that Jason Knoll couldn't even lift up Brew for a body slam at one point. Brew did such a good job at working Jason's leg and ankle area Brew tries so many times to lock the cloverleaf, and no matter how many times Noel fights it, fights out of it with slaps and chops and just kind of pushes the big man away. Brumach would come back with the big elbow drop. Or like we saw later towards the end of the match, that almost was literally the end of the match, a diving headbutt at Noel's knee. Now, Noel, to take nothing away from Jason, and I got to say this, and we got to be honest about this here.
Do you need me to
We know
record
that
this?
for what?
Is
For
this
what?
is this something that you're gonna regret later on?
No,
Okay.
no. And if I do, then I'll probably just get chopped again someday for it. I don't know, whatever. But at we got to look at the honest facts here. Is that the faithful themselves are starting to. I don't know if they're starting to like Jason Knoll, but I think they're starting to get behind him because the last couple of weeks we've seen him wrestle people and kind of take the short end of the stick a couple times. Like we saw him in this match tonight with Brew. In the beginning, it was very much back and forth. Both guys were literally throwing, and the word of the night tonight was redwood trees at each other, man. They were both just throwing the bark at each other for the entire first part of the match. But then we saw the difference maker was that when Ref Eli kind of was admonishing Brew about some garbage, Echo took his liberties on the outside and really kind of changed the path of the match at that point in time. So we're starting to see the faithful semi getting behind Jason a little bit. And I don't know if Jason's going to recognize this, but I think the people were really kind of rooting for him more often than not. I saw a clever chat during the match that somebody said they were more rooting for the ref in this match than absolutely anybody. But I got to say, Jason showed a ton of heart, a ton of fight. He got a couple adrenaline shots in this match and really tried to fire back, even though he was only on one leg, Johnny. He really did everything he could to really try to fight the Buffalo off. But Brew was just entirely too much. Like I said, that diving headbutt at the knee at the end, and then his kind of modified figure four. I almost want to call it a figure three because
No,
he didn't really have that
it was an
left leg
Indian
hooked on.
deathlock.
It was not an Indian deathlock. Indian deathlock is when you flip over a figure four. I thought that was when you flip over a
No,
figure four because it hurt
he
the other guy.
had the legs in between his legs. And did you know how you sit down and you stretch Indian style? That's
Yeah.
kind of what he did.
Well, either way, it freaking hurt.
Yeah.
Whether you call it a figure three or an Indian death, either way, Noel had no choice but to tap the mat as hard as he could, and Eli had to ring the bell, and Brew gets a win here, but not after Brew was going to, number one, realize he was in a match with a very large man, Jason Knoll, tonight. But I got a funny feeling that's going to go away after the victory party that he and Echo are probably at right now, kind of, because that's a big win. If you're Brew, these have been a lot of big wins stacking up, Johnny, and you go out there and have a great 10, 12-minute match with a guy like Jason Knoll, who does have him out XP'd, and you might even say has a slight power advantage over Brew, maybe, or it's 50-50 at best, but you got to admire Brew for going out there with the plan to work on Noel's knee until he basically just couldn't stand up anymore. And I think that was the absolute coup de grace of the match.
His psychology in the ring has gotten better. His moveset has gotten better. He might look like a big dude, but he's acting. He's almost like a huge Zack Sabre Jr. in there at times tonight. Like he was just putting down submissions like there's no tomorrow. You don't see that out of Brew. You know what I mean? So kudos to him for continuing to improve his game. I want to go back to that. I want to say, correct me if I'm wrong, and Chad can correct me too if they want. Is Brew undefeated since these two got together?
No, they both lost at Shocktober.
That's right. That's right.
They both lost at
Never
Shocktober.
mind. Yeah, no, you're correct. Still, that's probably the only loss I've seen thus far, unless there was another loss somewhere down the road. But either way, even the matches at Shocktober were great. You know what I mean? They weren't, Brew wasn't slouching at all. He actually probably controlled most of that match to begin with.
He did. I reffed it. I was there with him and Remy D, and they threw everything they could at each other, and Remy just had the answer at the end with that big roll-up, but Brew dominated a lot of that match.
And Jason Knoll, man, It's I guess it's good for the crowd maybe to get behind him a little bit, but I mean, he's just running into a whole bunch of L's right now. I can't even remember the last time he won a match. And right now he's going up against Sid and Bodie right now, your NRW champion on Charge. Thanks to Damon Ace, of course, which we don't know what Damon Ace is doing, and we're still trying to figure that out.
Damon
But
knows exactly what he's doing.
I know,
Damon
but we haven't
knows.
seen it in the light yet. There's been no hints as of right now. So I think Brew is undefeated on Ignition since joining Echo.
On Ignition,
Yeah.
yeah, I believe he's correct. And like I said, like you had said too, same thing. We both agreed. I believe the losses at Shocktober were their only losses
Yeah.
together.
Well, I mean, no, because I mean, in Echo's case, it was more than one, but I wouldn't even call that a loss. He was in a tag team match
Well,
with CBD, and
with
CBD
Carson,
ran.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not really. I mean, it is, but
Going back to
CBD
Jason, I mean,
being CBD.
he is, he put up one hell of a fight tonight, with one good tire basically tonight, because Brew was just attacking the legs. And no, he's definitely getting more aggressive. I think we can honestly say, and I think we both can agree, that Jason Noel's starting to get a little bit more aggressive in his approach in his matches. He's just taking the L's, man, and there's only you almost kind of have to humble yourself a little bit. You know what I mean? At this point, you just got to find a way, screw what Damon said, screw what everybody else said, just get some W's under your win column and then switch to 2024 and then begin the rise of the Diamond Standard. You got to get something together. And
I agree.
Yep. You know what I mean? So, I mean, if I'm Jason Noel right now.
He had it going. He had
I'm not saying he didn't. I'm not saying he didn't.
No. When Panthro was around like a month or two ago.
Oh, yeah.
They had a little thing rolling very similar to like Echo and Brew, what's happening between the two of them. They were both kind of elevating each other. And then Panthro left to probably go film another $3.99 Walmart movie. And he's just gone for a while. And he kind of left Jason high out to dry. So it is what it is. But if the guy does get any kind of momentum, he could turn that momentum into a steamroller over the locker room. So people are going to have to be careful. He's not a guy to take lightly. Give him a couple wins. You let that freight train get some momentum. It's not stopping at any crossing, baby.
Yeah, I know. Just
it won't.
If I'm Jason O right now, I'd just be ignoring anything that Damon A says right now. I'd be more focused on yourself. Leave Sin and Happy and Noel alone. Let them deal with the whole Lilith situation, because that was inevitable to begin with anyway. I don't think there was any way that Noel and Lilith wasn't going to go to blows at some point down the road, given the history of this year. But if I'm Jason Noel, man, just step back and just try and work on getting some wins before the year's over, and then make 2024 your year. You know what I mean? Build some momentum going into it. Don't worry about the drama and worrying about getting into other people's business right now. It's not worth it.
We'll have to see if he takes that advice. That's some good advice. We'll have to see how far he takes it.
But anyways, moving on here, we had some more Lockets action to talk about here. We had Lola the Adventurer going up against your reigning Lockets champion, Adrian Mascara. What'd you think about this one?
I think that the Miscreants were standing on their feet the entire time during this match. This is another classic rivalry here from 2023 rather, that we've been watching with Lola and Adrian. Look, these two are just like Lilith and Noel, very familiar with each other's offense. And it's going to be a matter of who is going to elevate themselves to the other person's game, who's going to elevate and walk away with consistent wins. And lately it's been Adrian. However, did you see Lola kind of snap? It just, for lack of a better word, when she had the arm stretch behind Adrian's back and she sang the entire row, row, row your boat song, she kind of looked like the engine was running, but there was like nobody behind the wheel. Like she kind of tuned out for a couple minutes, and she looked a little bit different in that regard. We know she's been through hell lately with the law office, trying to get Preston, trying to figure out what's going on. We saw how Preston's kind of really ducking her and blowing her off left and right. So that's enough to mess with anybody's head. You didn't do anything wrong. And here you are getting ducked and ignored, and it's kind of a mess. So it's up to kind of Lola to really turn this up. And she does a real good job at turning it up, keeping Adrian off balance for a lot of the time. But once Adrian catches fire towards the end here, it's just too much for Lola to handle. We see a big shoulder tackle, a bunch of boots in the corner, and Adrian is rolling here. So much so that Lola has to go to the backpack. And we've seen her go to the backpack before and pull out all kinds of different things. However, tonight she pulls out a damn taser. She pulled out, John, she pulled out a taser.
I don't know anymore. I don't
A taser.
know. We've seen, okay, literally in the past few weeks alone, we've seen what? Machetes, we've seen fireworks, we've seen cement bricks. You know, now we have tasers in the mix, bowling balls.
And it kind of backfired. I mean, pardon the pun, but it kind of backfired on Lola because she goes to run at Adrian with it, and Adrian just a simple drop toe hold, and Lola has a shocking experience of her own and drops the taser, tased herself. I mean, that's not Adrian's fault. She didn't use it. She didn't use it. She dropped toe holded her and then pins her and gets the win. This is Lola opening mouth and inserting foot. She's taking something, like I said, I think Lola's having her own conflict of what's going on from the neck up right now in her own head, because we know she's had such a very much a roller coaster year, and she's seeing everybody else in the division turning up the anger, turning up the aggression. I hate to say it, but that was kind of stupid to bring a taser to the ring, because if you drop it or if somebody else gets it, now you're about to be tased, and that's exactly what happened. So I think that was a huge mistake. In hindsight, granted, we're looking at this from after the show, but Adrian Mascara gets the win here after it wasn't so clear through the match who was going to win this. It took a mistake on Lola's part to win the match. And I'm not going to say Adrian got out. We've seen matches where she's gotten out of dodge with the title. That is not the case tonight. She knew where to be, and she got out of the way with one simple move and won the match. Good for the champ, and back to the drawing board for Lola Adventure. I was very surprised that Lola, like we've seen Lilith go to the Warhammer. We saw Lola go to a damn taser. Don't you need like a certain permit to buy a taser or something like that, isn't it? Or is that just in Massachusetts?
In this state,
that,
yeah.
Like, yeah, okay, all right. Maybe other places you can just go buy one. You can't just go buy one here. That's like almost considered a weapon, pretty much. But yeah, very shocking development tonight. Hey, John?
I'm going to say...
it's not the first time. KD's right. It's not the first time we've seen the taser, but...
I saw what you did there, by the way. Anyways.
You like that?
How's that fly, by the way?
Dad. I haven't seen him in like the last 20 minutes or so. It's been nice.
All right. Well, I'm going to say exactly like I said with the match before. I think what Jason Knoll has to do is exactly what Lola needs to do. Because now, I mean, we're done with the roller coaster. Now we're just going straight down the Superman ride at Six Flags right now. We're going straight about 200 feet down to rock bottom at the moment for Lola. And she needs to get her stuff together and screw the poop. Just screw it. Just you don't need Preston. You didn't need Preston, for most of this year anyway, because Preston didn't do anything for you to begin with. Screw the poo.
Screw the poo.
Screw the poo. Was that a phrasing mishap?
I don't know, but it is hilarious. Somebody that needs to be a sign.
That needs to be
on a t-shirt.
Oh no, that's right. Fourth row. Where are you? Screw the poo. God.
Yes, on so many levels, but my God, I can't believe you just said that.
Yeah.
So,
either
way, though,
I'm just calling it like I see it, man. Lola, just do exactly what I said to Jason and just find your way again. You don't need Preston. You don't need a law office. We've seen you do it without them. Just don't bring tasers out there no more. Don't bring anything out there no more. Just wrestle your game the way that we know you know how.
It was a whole ass taser.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, yeah.
Nope.
I'm at a loss for words. I've never seen anybody tase themselves and lose a match. At least very recently. It's been a while. But yeah. I mean,
Dude.
for her right now, she's all in clearly. You know, be
But this has
aggressive.
to be the level of
Be
desperation.
aggressive. Don't get me wrong. I like the switch. I like the flip. It's good. Just no taser. And no poo. Screw the poo. Yep, I broke you. I know. It's okay.
No, I'm not broken.
We got two
I'm
more
not
matches. We got 2 more matches.
I know we do. We got 2 really good matches, man. This whole show was pissa tonight, man. We had a great show. We still got 2 really big matches. We got the main event, and then this fight right here. We got to talk about in just a moment here. Once you introduce it,
But I'm very, very distraught that this match actually had to happen. Zamore going up against Echo. Team Joe members, man. Team Joe members.
Isn't Echo past that at this point? These are choices that he made. Things that he decided.
No, I know.
Ways that
I know.
The road that he decided to go down.
Oh, I know. And it's a huge mistake. I get it. But eventually it'll come up to bite him. It will. At some point. Not tonight, though, unfortunately. Because the odds were stacked against Zamore from the get-go.
And it was very similar to what happened earlier with Jason Knoll.
Hashtag screw the poo. There we go.
Oh, my Jesus Christ.
I didn't do it. I was just going to leave it there until we saw Mr. Fourth Row.
I cannot wait until Preston watches this show and hears that, and then hear his rebuttal one of these weeks to finding out.
Oh, don't worry. There will be a lawsuit coming my way. I'm definitely going to have to contact my lawyer tomorrow.
You more than likely will. Yeah, there'll be some kind of defamation situation. It's either or defecation situation, one or the other, but either way, it's not going to be good. It's not going to smell good in the end either.
Okay. It's okay, because I'm pretty sure my lawyer is better than him. So,
well, guaranteed. Are you kidding me? But on the good side of things, on the wicked good side of things, we see a returning Zamore tonight, looking sharp and out there and ready to go, man. Has a crowd behind it. Oh, hey, there's the clap.
I forgot about we had the sound bite.
We got sounds now. Yeah, Discord gave us some freebies over here. And
we were
playing with
we
it
still have the ones that we put on earlier. Yeah,
we were playing with that. Yeah, but we can't use them yet.
We're not going to use those. No.
We got to wait for. I don't think we can use those on YouTube either way. But Zamore coming out looking sharp, and we've seen this match many times in the past before. We've seen Zamore and Echo go at it many times before. We've seen both come out victorious, but now we look on the outside, and both Echo and Brew are each other's own personal insurance policies. And after the big beginning part where Z doesn't even want to wait for the bell, man, adrenaline is a hell of a situation, and he just goes and gets Echo in the hard way, and he just starts with the big hip toss, and Echo gets caught by surprise. It is all kinds of chaos and bedlam in the Wimmer Arena because Zamore's going nuts. Echo tries to get back in with the shots in the forearms. It's just not enough. Zamore is just entirely too strong. But then we talk about that insurance policy. We talk about that defensive line that Brumach acts like, and he does get that defense on the outside when Zamore's tired of waiting. Zamore goes out to get Echo. Brew runs a little bit of interference, gets in his face, doesn't touch him, but gets in his face long enough for Echo to get the distraction, and we get that big throat chop, and Zamore's immediately at a disadvantage after this. And then Echo just goes to work on Zamore's shoulder and top half, man, because we know Z likes to use that big front chancery and lock guys in. Once he gets you, anybody who's been in it knows you're not getting out of it. Even if you're a guy the size of Z size, it doesn't matter. With Echo being a lot smaller, it's going to be a lot harder to get out of it. So Echo, again, has the game plan. We saw Brew go with the game plan to take out Jason Knoll's knee, and we see Echo go to the game plan of taking out Z's arm and shoulder so we can't get that chancery locked in. So you can tell there's a lot of gamesmanship being played right here. And we even see, even beyond sportsmanship and gamesmanship, we see, I don't know, what do you call it? Like cheatermanship, I guess if that's a word. The opposite of sportsmanship when Z's trying to get the ropes with his foot to break a top, nice tight top wrist lock that Echo has. We see Brew pulling the rope away so that Z can't get the thing, get the rope, and Alex is yelling at him. And this whole time, Echo still has the hold through all this chaos, through all of maybe the rope break, maybe not. We don't get a chance because Brew's messing around the whole time. It's an extra 5 to 10 seconds that Zamore is in this hold, getting worn down and worn down. Yeah, Queen, this match was really, really good. But once Alex does break it up, because Z does get the other foot to the rope, Z manages to get up and the big fire up. He keeps going for the splashes. Echo's getting out of the way, but Z gets smart on the third one. He doesn't charge all the way in. He waits for Echo to move and then hits him in the other corner. Gets the big splash. Echo still got a little wherewithal, dodges the second splash. And then as he's coming out, Zamore goes for the big power bomb. And this was in one beautiful fell motion. Echo gets out of the power bomb and turns it into an X Factor, like a face buster, and just puts Zamore down in one beautiful motion. You thought it was over with the big power bomb from Z. And Echo shows that wherewithal at the end to turn it into a face buster and get the win. So it took a lot of defense on the outside from Brumac. It took a lot of chaos, but Echo does get the win tonight. Kind of spoils the return party, Johnny, for Zamore here. But this is why I don't feel so bad about, your Team Joe situation. I'm sorry, dude. But we're watching one of the guys that was on it really kind of bend and break every rule that's extremely possible here. And Zamore took the short end of the stick. You shouldn't even care, to be honest, anymore, man, about the E in Team Joe.
No,
Because Echo's kind
we
of
haven't
spoiling
seen the
that party
O
for
in
himself.
over a year.
Yes, I understand that. I misspoke a letter. My bad. All right. But at the same point, Echo making his own choices. Yes, he's getting wins. And yes, Brew got wins tonight. They both helped each other out. And this is what other tag teams in the future are going to have to keep an eye on. Singles, tags, not going to matter. Chopper City, I hope you're watching. Because they had a cool interaction with him on Tuesday night on Charged over here. Echo's pissed at them. But Chopper City came in and ran distraction and kind of threw him off. We're looking at a collision course here sometime in the future. And something tells me we're going to see Chopper City in the next match. They were watching. And they're seeing what's going on with Echo and Brew. And it's all up to no good. Unless you're Echo and Brew.
You want to know what I think? I think if you compare the two matches that we saw tonight with Brew and Echo, I'm going to be honest. I think Brew's was more impressive.
I mean, I don't know if that's an important factor in which one's more impressive. I think we're looking at two guys that are figuring out the game, their way, this way.
I saw a JK Pop situation that we just had not too long ago where one person wouldn't help and the other one would help. Both these guys won tonight, but Brew did it on his own. Brew had to help Echo in certain moments of this match and get in the way and be a distraction.
Echo helped Brew in that match?
Not as much as what Brew did.
No, maybe not, but it was still kind of there. Either way, the important part right now is that these two guys are putting people on notice that they're going to win. And it doesn't matter how they win. By this way, by that way, it doesn't matter. They are both going to win by any which way that they possibly can, and it doesn't matter.
I will say, though, Zamore, first time back in a while, comes back looking good. Seems like there's no ring rust on him whatsoever. He was moving around. He was aggressive. And, I mean, the last time we saw him is when he lost to Sergey for the Ignition title, so it's been a few months. So...
I'm sure that weighed heavy. I'm sure that weighed heavy on his mind for a while.
Oh, I'm sure.
But we look at him tonight, and he came back the same House of Fire Zamore that we've seen, that we had seen, and that we're going to continue to see. And it's good to see the big man back.
moving on here, we do have a very, very big main event to talk about here as D Hort Plays has made his entrance into the chat on YouTube. What is up? And we
Up
have,
to you,
oh
please.
my God, do we really have another link in Rumble? Guys, come on, man. With the links. We don't do links. Can't do links. Appreciate you watching the show. Don't get me wrong. We appreciate your support just by watching, but we don't need no more links in the chat. So please, 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 please. No more. Anyways. Smoke and Mirrors had their hands full tonight going up against the reigning tag team champions Choppa City, which, by the way, BWI 500 came out. Choppa City, both men were on that list.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Brucey just got in like the 490s or something. I can't remember the exact number, but Atiba was up there.
I think he said
488, and Atiba was up in like the mid 200s, I believe.
He was in the
like 240 something.
Well.
I thought it was 240 something.
Either way,
either way, yeah,
that's impressive as hell. I don't care where you are, you're on that list, and that's all that matters is that you are on that list. That's an important list. That's a testament to those two, even individually. Besides them, their cohesion together as a tag team. But you want to talk about cohesion as a tag team? We have watched Smoke and Mirrors grow by leaps and bounds over these past couple months. It started, and it was a dumpster fire. Right? Like, let's just be honest. But over these last couple months,
dumpster fire. I would that drastic.
Well, I did, and I would in the beginning. However, they have come together so tightly together and brought this thing to such a level where in the beginning of this match, for the first few minutes, it was Choppa City that had their hands full with Smoke and Mirrors. To more than a certain extent, Smoke and Mirrors have done so well as a tag team, coming out hot in a match and gaining early advantages on all their opponents. Where they've really kind of lacked is towards the end of the match, having a finishing ability to be able to kind of put it away. And that's one of the, and they're building this house from the foundation up. And I think right now they're at a point where they just need to put the windows in the house so that all the air stops leaking in and out. And once they stop the leaking, I really think it's only a matter of time before we start seeing their hands raised more than it isn't. Because for Choppa City tonight, the first part of the match, Bruce Waynes had his hands full in the corner with Mick Diamond, kind of coming out strong against them. And then Cushman, once the two of them got it going, Bruce was having a hard time. But Bruce, with all the experience and the power, gets a tag, gets Atiba in the ring, and then when Atiba gets in and he starts bringing ruckus, man, that's when the chops start firing up, and he just starts taking over. They isolate Cushman in the corner, and we just see the tag in and out chops, man. One guy come in, chop, 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 tag, chop, 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 and Cushman is just earthquaking himself in the corner because these chops are absolutely thunderous coming down on him. Mick gets a tag and starts firing up. He hits a crossbody, and then he hits a hurricanrana on the final boss. We're seeing Mick Diamond throwing some of these moves out there. Big, impactful moves. We see ref Eli take a squish in the corner. Yeah, thank you, Lucas. Thank you. But then once boss kind of takes matters into his own hands, like it really starts working here. The boss manages to fight back. He dodged Mick's double axe handle and then makes Mick hit Cushman. And then Cushman comes off and Cushman hits Mick. And then they both go to punch boss at the same time. Ref's trying to get somebody out of the ring, and they both end up punching each other. So there was a little segment in the match where Choppa City kind of using Smoke and Mirror's own magic against them, and it starts working for Choppa City. Atiba, again, same thing. He gets in, and he's just taking care of business, gets Boss in for the tag, and Boss hits a really cool diving elbow off the second rope onto Mick Diamond. Didn't hit him with all of it, but hit him with enough of it at the end of a match to get the win. And going from, I got to say, in the beginning of the match, having some trouble with the young fellas and Cushman and Mick Diamond, Choppa City turned it around and proved why they are the tag team champions and showed why the chop is more than the air guitar. The chop is louder than the chord. I don't know what other musical puns you can make because I'm a drummer. I'm not a guitarist. Either way, Chopper City in beat with a W. One more. In beat with the W and getting a win here. But Smoke and Mirrors with nothing to hang their heads about here at the end of this match. I thought they fought great. Ref gave the match a lot of leeway, John. And I think that favored Smoke and Mirrors to a point. But then Chopper City just
Well,
put
let's
the
not
chop
forget
down
the
and said no
situation that
more.
happened with Eli too. He got bumped in the corner halfway through that match, and he was in a lot of pain too.
Total accidental though. It was completely
Oh, I'm not
accidental.
saying it was on
Nobody went
purpose.
after him. Right. He took the squish. I think it was a drop kick that Mick had hit Boss with, and he was just a little out of position. And I'm going to tell you right now, as a guy who's gotten squished by dudes it hurts. Those
Spear
turnbuckles
too,
don't feel
apparently.
nice. I don't care if people, they're padded. Go hit one. Tell me how good you feel. Doesn't feel good on the back and the neck area at all in the least bit. So Eli recovers, kind of like I said, let a lot of stuff go. I thought it was going to favor Smoke and Mirrors, but it didn't. Chopper City taking care of business at the end of the night.
No, you got the XP over there on one side, and then you got the young up and comers on the other side. You knew this was a lopsided match in terms of experience in the squared circle. But whenever you get a chance to face any type of champion in a match, non-title match, you make the most of it and get your names out there, because who knows who might be watching. There's always a president watching, and there's always other people around that are looking at these type of matches and trying to see what this guy or this team or this woman has in her tank in a high pressure situation in a big time match against a current champion. Smoke and Mirrors, gotta admit, you gotta give them the credit. They took advantage. I just saw that fly again. They took advantage of.
Thought I had him.
Oh, there he goes again.
Thought I got him.
We might not be able to see the demise of this fly. But you got to give them credit going back to the match here. They took advantage of their opportunity and they made the best of it. Granted, in a losing effort, but they got to go into the locker room with their heads held high that they put up one hell of a fight against, not only, tag team champions, but also the two guys that made the BWI list too. So, I mean, that's another thing that you can kind of hang your head up high and be like, yeah, I wrestled those two guys. And they were on here, on this list, in 2023. And we took them to the limit. You know what I mean? So,
like, even though it was a loss, I'm not going to say there's anything like a good loss. But this
is probably the
even
most constructive loss you could get, to be honest.
That's a good word, constructive. I think they learned a lot in this match. And I think, like I said before, they're just one little thing at the end of the match away from winning. They just have to put some kind of finishing ability on things because they do a good job. I don't think
we've seen anything from them in terms of like a finishing move or a move that would put a guy out on their back for the 1, 2, 3. I don't think we've seen that yet.
Not quite yet.
I wonder if they have something planned.
I mean, that side Russian, that double side Russian that they hit Boss with, that was very effective. The coming in and out, the cross bodies against each other are great when they hit them. You don't want to be double axe handling your own partner here and there. And I think a lot of that, like you said, is Boss's XP factor. But I really think that we're watching Smoke and Mirrors take another step forward on the staircase that is the career, their own careers as a tag team. I think each week we watch them go out and they learn a little more and they take one more step and they take another step. It's, again, credit to the coaching at the Al Snow Wrestling Academy. It's a credit to these two young guys putting in the work, going out there, taking their beatings, but each week they've learned how to take less and less of a beating. And it's only a matter of time before we see their hands raised together. It's only a matter of time.
And as for Chopper City, I mean, right now they're just rock and rolling, and they're literally just waiting for that next tag team to come out of the rubble in that tag team division and see who's going to step up and challenge them at No Thanksgiving or for a title match in the future. Because as of right now, there's only a couple teams right now that actually have a legitimate shot at vying for that spot when it comes down to it. And as of right now, from what we've seen on Charge, we have the Echo and Brew team We also have Lord Mitchell Taylor and Derek Stone. Now, we're not going to really see that going into No Thanksgiving, but we'll see what happens with Dean because, again, Dean makes the final decision here on this match. We'll see what happens.
If you stop, I I saw that. I didn't want to bring up the thumb of doom. I didn't want to bring that up. But
you
yeah,
did,
you're not
so
wrong. No, I didn't. Lucas did. Lucas
yeah,
did.
but you read it, which means technically you brought it up.
I know. There was a thumb of doom moment in
There's that fly again. He's right behind you. Behind you.
thumb of doom. Is he behind me?
He's behind you.
I don't know where he is. Queen, I got no chopsticks. I can use chopsticks. I know how to use it. I ain't catching a fly like that.
Why would you use chopsticks?
Because Mr. Miyagi did, and men who catch fly with chopstick do anything.
Oh God, that's right. We're learning from movies now. I forgot.
We're moving. Yes, I'm gonna get that bastard. I'm gonna get that bastard. I don't know where he is. I'm not leaving tonight until I get him.
God. All right. Other than that, that's going to conclude Ignition for this evening. Final thoughts on this show, Marky?
Another great Ignition on the penultimate episode here. We know next week is our final Ignition. It's kind of sad. Here we are in our penultimate Reignited. Next week will be, so I'm assuming that next week is going to probably be one of the biggest, if not the biggest Ignitions we've ever seen. And after what we watched tonight, the bar was set wicked high for everything that we saw tonight going forward. Brew and Echo rolling. Chopper City rolling. Lilith Grimm turning yet another page in the aggression handbook as she writes page 17 from a fresh slate. And Lola the Adventurer kind of losing her mind. Kind of the Lockett's divisions getting even more tumbled, like clothes in a dryer, even more so.
I'm telling you, I gave the solution already. Just screw the poo. Just screw the poo. And just walk away and do your own thing.
Screw the poo.
Screw the poo. See you later, Preston.
I see a t-shirt with emojis on it in my head.
Oh, me too.
You can't write that out.
It's going to be an orange t-shirt with the hashtag and the emoji.
No. Yeah, a hashtag and then a Phillips head screw and then Opie.
Should it be all emojis?
Needs to be.
Can you do that?
I'm not talking about this anymore. Move on. I know you have your finger sitting on the record button waiting for me to say something stupid, and I was this close to saying something stupid. So moving on, letting people know what's going on going forward.
God damn it.
I'll
get him again. It's been a while.
It's
been a while.
It's been a while.
It really has. But moving on, yes, as you heard tonight, this was the second to last Ignition, which leads to our show, which is dude, that fly is distracting me down. Do you got it? He's okay. No, so he's by the door. He's by the door. I just saw him by the door.
No. He was flying towards my camera. He's sitting on top of my camera right now. And I can't smack my camera. I'm not going to do that.
No. Smack it. Smack it.
I'm not smacking my camera. It's a $100 camera. I'm not smacking. You going to buy me another one?
Depends on if you kill the fly or not.
So if I smash my camera and I kill the fly, you'll buy me another camera?
Maybe. Oh, God. All right. Yeah, so it was the second to last Ignition this evening. Next week will be the final Ignition, as well as the final Reignited for a little while. Now, Ignition is not gone forever. I guess you could say it's just taking a hiatus right now. So, as we move over to 2024, as you all have noticed, Rocky Mountain Pro's schedule over the course of the year has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's really hard to be able to, squeeze in all these events all into one, because without Ignition, it's going to be replaced by another show somewhere on the road. You know what I mean? So they're constantly busy, and they're growing with bookings and the whole 9 yards throughout the course of next year already. So it's just going to be a hiatus. I do see Ignition coming back in the future. It's just until, um, this is a better way to put it, we can get a handle on everything, I guess you could say. So,
Ignition
unfortunately,
is just going on sabbatical
yeah. I
for a
mean,
little bit, as we know it. Yeah.
I mean, it'll come back. It's always come back. You know, this is like what, the third or fourth um iteration of Ignition, I believe.
At
So
least second. At least second from what
I
we've
think it's
heard.
third.
Yeah, maybe third.
I think
maybe
it's
third.
I think it's three, because you had the beginning, and then we used to have Ignition when we first started, and that used to be the pre-show for like charge tapings when they would be on Twitch, and you would see the charge tapings live. The pre-show was the Ignition. I think that was the second one, and then a year and a half ago, or a little over that, is when this sequence of Ignition started. So, again, over 120 or 30 episodes in, through this span, and Ignition will come back probably later on, maybe later next year, maybe the year after, once everything, once we can all get a good grip on the schedules and stuff, because I mean, it's just growing, with other events coming down the pipeline. What else do I got to say? Oh, Summit Tacos. They're back on the road this Saturday, the 21st. Don't ask me the time, because I don't know. Don't ask me the exact address, because I don't know. But it will be at Longmont, Colorado. So I know the city or the town. I just don't know time and exact address. So if anybody in chat knows the exact address and time, you can post it in chat.
Here we go. I just Googled them, and they are at 237 Collier Street in Longmont, Colorado. Summit Tacos. Makes me hungry. I am starving right now. Some tacos would be awesome.
What he said.
What is better than tacos and wrestling? Like, it's like a natural partnership, isn't it?
Yeah, makes sense.
It's a beautiful thing.
Especially when it's a festival of tacos too.
Absolutely.
So yeah, Summit Tacos on the 21st. Other than that, I don't think there's any other live shows for the rest of the month that I know of, leading into No Thanksgiving. So after that, No Thanksgiving is the next big event coming out for Rocky Mountain Pro. That is going to be on Thursday, November 2nd at the Wimmer Arena, starting at 7 o'clock. Pre-show will start at 6 p.m. Mountain Now time, with the first bell of the first match of No Thanksgiving at 7 p.m. Mountain Now time. East Coast.
Did you see them go through the Mountain Now? That Spicer and Lucas were talking about the Mountain Now time thing.
I'm telling you, it's catching on. Dude, this needs to be like a trending viral thing worldwide, and it needs to go up to like Congress or something. And it just needs to just be a thing. It just needs to be Mountain Now time, Central Now time, Eastern Now time. It just needs to be a thing.
I think if you ask the majority of the people would probably rather that we didn't keep going back and forth. But not so much for the back part, because I don't know about you, but I love an extra hour of sleep on that particular night. I think it's fantastic. However, I also hate waking up in the morning and going to work and having it be dark by the time I even leave work. That sucks. However, the spring forward thing is horrendous, because then we lose an hour of sleep. I think if we just kind of like now timed it, and
just now timed it, that's it.
If we just now timed it, everybody has their own time zones. I'm not talking about changing time zones. Just switching.
Just put an N in the middle. That's all. That's it.
Although we are coming up to fall back, which we get that hour of sleep. So
I don't care. It's gonna get dark at 4 o'clock. I don't care. I'd rather lose the hour. Be honest.
I mean, to be honest, right? But I know the day it happens, I'm gonna be happy for the hour, and then I'll bitch about the darkness after that. But either way, I'd rather we just get rid of it.
Yes, but you're gonna be very moody.
It's not just up to us. I will be moody. No, I'm moody on the spring forward, because then I lose an hour. Then I get all pissy. I get all Italian hangry and everything, and
Um.
not myself for a week.
Oh, yes. The Patreon thing that we've been talking about, that is going to, I kind of have an area that we're going to release that. We're probably going to start that the first full week of November is when Patreon is going to go live. What?
Nothing. I know the videos that you're going to put up on it, and shit, if that's not worth $3 a month, I don't know what is.
Just don't say stupid stuff. That's all.
I have learned that lesson lately. However, before I was still dumbassington and had said plenty of stupid things.
The fact that you said dumbassington is actually pretty hysterical. I wish I had the record button on that one, because that needs to be in the Urban Dictionary right there.
Ref Maki Dumbassington.
There you go.
Had showed up many, many times throughout the course of a show and
there
said
you
some
go.
real stupid stuff back in the. If you want to hear the stupidity, because of course John saved it. Of course he did.
I did. It's on the Johnny Deathdrop Twitch channel, which I will be getting back to streaming within the next week or two. So you have to look forward to that. So make sure you follow twitch.tv/Johnny Deathdrop as well, as I will be doing whatever the hell I'm doing that day. I don't plan it. I just wing it. So you get to enjoy the unfiltered, unedited version of me over on Twitch. And yes, we did actually run through a couple of those videos last week when you were here.
Yeah, we did. After the show was over, we watched some of the old shit, and god damn, I screwed up a whole bunch of times.
And that's there's going to be a few of those that will probably make the first set of videos on Patreon. So make sure you look out for those.
Yeah, you didn't save any of yours.
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Did you really?
Yeah, we didn't go back far enough. I have like 5 or 6 of them of my screw ups. So you're not alone. Don't worry. I saved those.
All right. I know I've had probably the biggest doozies on the show.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Triple I had some serious, like, questionable, like, this could get us banned doozies.
That's true. Yeah. That's accurate.
I mean, you just got to look back to the first interview that we did with Remy D, and that basically speaks for itself.
Which, by the way, still to this day was one of the best interviews that we ever did. The first time we interviewed Remy D when he first broke into the scene here at RMP. Oh my God.
And there will be more, but on the Patreon, it will be unedited, unfiltered stuff. You're just going to be seeing what we talk about behind the curtain before we go live. This is literally the conversations that you would be watching if we had flipped the curtain immediately when we jumped into the Discord. So you get to look forward to all that on our Patreon that's coming up next month. So, again, it's really something, and the reason why is because of the missing show that we're not going to have Reignited for a little while. It's another way to keep up with your Dudes and Belts content, even though we're going to be off a day during the week and we're only going to have 2 shows. So it's another way to stay in touch and keep going on Dudes and Belts stuff. And what better way to do it than unfiltered, uncensored stuff that we really can't show on YouTube or any of these platforms anyway. So
yeah, YouTube doesn't necessarily like that. Twitch, we could get away with a whole lot more over there, but at the same point here on YouTube, nah, they frown upon.
Trust me, folks, we've been keeping it very professional over the past year or so. So
Oh yeah.
Got to pat ourselves on the back for that. We didn't think we had it in us.
If you ever knew me and you know how much I really swear, you have no idea how hard it is to not swear that much.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean,
really hard.
We let a few go during the show from time to time, but I mean, for the most part, I mean, we're about 85 to 90% in the good.
That's true. I just try to pick my spot. If I got to use it, I got a feeling I get one. I'm gonna wait for that one to really use it.
Also, we do have other stuff that's coming. That's probably going to be released around the same time, as a matter of fact. I have been working pretty hard whenever I have free time. We got a lot of new things to show you guys just in time for the holiday season as well. We're more than halfway done, and I think I am just about on the tail end of it. There's still a little bit more work to be done, but you guys are going to be seeing some new stuff coming from the Dudes and Belts specifically. And of course, if that doesn't get you more excited, we do got the Peak Awards coming up in a couple months' time. We typically do that right around, the end of December. I think it's like the Sunday before Christmas or something like that, or the Sunday before New Year's.
Mhm.
Um,
Dude, it's
so
already almost Halloween. It's going to be Thanksgiving. There's that damn fly.
just
It's going to be Thanksgiving soon. Christmas is right around the corner. Santa Claus is going to be ho, ho, hoing down the street with a cup of eggnog and Christmas cheer and all that good stuff. And
so
the Peak
there's going to be a lot of new things coming to start 2024 as well. So we've been working pretty hard behind the scenes, and it should be ready hopefully by the first week of November when we release Patreon as well. So expect a big beginning of November for Dudes and Belts on a personal level. As far as RMP, we still doing our thing, man. We're still rocking and rolling over here, even though we're down to 2 shows a week. We're still going to give you recharge. We're still going to give you the rewind. I'm currently working, actually, as we speak. Hopefully, if we can get it done, get a quick little RMP talent member stream before No Thanksgiving comes up, which is only a couple weeks away. So
Yeah.
there's that coming down the pipeline. Hopefully, we can get something going before then. But other than that, folks, we're still going to be doing the same thing. We're just down a show, but we're technically adding content with our Patreon. So, in a way, we're still going to be around the same amount of time. Any final thoughts, Mark, before we sign off for the evening?
I'm sorry to see Ignition go. It kind of sucks. I like being the Reignited guy. I love the show. It's been great to watch this journey from what was the first Ignition, in this iteration of it. And then
I know
next
we're
week, we're
not.
going to see the last.
We're only going to see you on Sundays now.
Yep. And,
That just came to my
unfortunately,
attention.
things happen and the bowling alley is very busy on Tuesday, and especially going back and forth to Denver like we're going to be for the next few weeks. Like Coastal has been going, like we have to go and go do the charge tapings, but other than that, it is going to kind of suck to not be here. I enjoy doing this with you, but on a personal note, it also means I get to go back to training on Thursday nights. So now I get an extra night of my own training here. So that's good in one regard, but I've enjoyed being the Reignited guy. I like being on the show. But Sunday night, that just means you're going to get twice as much masshole. We might turn the accent up just a little teeny tiny bit and give Johnny some of that Patreon content that he wants so damn much. You might just get a little bit more out of it from the masshole in the next coming weeks. So, but I'm sorry to see Ignition go, but it all makes that much more for next week's show. We're going to have to be here and check it out, because with it being the end, there is no way that this is going to just be your average show. Something
it's not
big. I
the
have this
end.
funny
It's
feeling.
a sabbatical. It's a sabbatical.
But for now,
yeah, it's a pause. We'll say pause.
So I got a funny feeling next week's going to be a big week. So it'll be good to be here together. We'll all be here one last time for this iteration of Ignition. Next week, tune in. It's going to be a big, big week. We're all going to have a good time together one last time here on Reignited.
And if and when Ignition does come back, so will Reignited. Reignited's not gone forever either. It's still going to be there. It's still going to be ready to go whenever Ignition keeps back up or kicks back up. So
the dudes will be here. The dudes have been here. The dudes are going nowhere. We love this as much as they love doing it for us.
So other than that, folks, we're going to conclude tonight's show. We greatly appreciate all you guys. Again, look forward to the beginning of November for Dudes and Stuff belts getting thrown in your face. And also, start thinking about the Peak Awards, too, because remember, when we closed out last year's Peak Awards, we said we were going to do something different this year. you, the fans, are going to be the ones that are going to pick this year's winner. And I still haven't figured out the logistics of how we're going to do that yet. I have a couple things that we're going to test out over the next month to see if it works. If not, then it's going to be a huge DM fest, and I want to try and avoid that as much as possible. So we're going to be doing a couple things. We're going to be running a few tests and see exactly how we're going to go about it, but we will be having the fans vote for the first time during the Peak Awards to see who's going to take home that award at the end of the year. So, and it's going to be the same trophies too. Nothing's really going to change except the logo. The logo is probably going to change a tad, but other than that, that's what you saw last year is the exact same thing the wrestlers are going to get this year. And yes, there will be a second annual Wimmer Award recipient as well. So we're going to keep that tradition going as well. So, other than that, I think that's it. I think that's officially it. For myself, Johnny Deathdrop, of course, and referee Marky Pins over here. We will see you guys on Sunday for another episode of the Rocky Mountain Rewind with myself, Marky, Coastal, and Lucas Bradwell, who you saw on the commentary table this evening. We'll be doing the rewind. I think we're on episode, 3 or 4?
I think this week will be 4.
Is it 4?
I believe. 3.
Okay.
3. Sorry, no, 3.
So we'll be doing episodes 3 and 4 on
they're
Sunday.
Far shorter.
Yes.
Than the other ones were, So we could definitely power through 2 episodes. And a lot going on. Dean's a champion. Hunter Gray's.
We might have Dean again on Sunday. He has an open door policy when it comes to the rewind. So whenever he's free and he wants to come on the show, so you might be seeing Dean.
Especially when he's the champion on the shows that we're watching right now from 2014.
Yeah, so I mean, you'll probably see him from time to time on the rewind as well. Other than that, folks, that's it for us. As always, like we say, be safe, be classy, as always. And we'll see you guys on Sunday for another episode of the Rocky Mountain Rewind. As always, folks, stay safe, stay classy. We'll see you on the next one once again. See you later, folks.
And screw.
Don't miss a moment of Rocky Mountain Pro action with options that suit your tastes and needs. Check out new episodes of Charged and Ignition. Interact with your favorite stars and personalities, all for free. Subscribe on YouTube, Twitch, and Kick, or follow us on Rumble. Upgrade to the pay-per-view membership on YouTube and don't miss out on any past and present special events and episodes of Charged with more content added all the time. Check us out on any of these platforms and search RMP Wrestling to get more pro wrestling elevated.
Gregory Rise locked into this time, and he catches all of it. World's prettiest elbow you saw here on Charge. And the ring couldn't even take the impact. No. What a frog splash.